Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. As we get into the middle of the trading week, we're hearing that Ford has jumped to $20 in their stock price, and this is quite significant because it's the first time it's happened in over 20 years. So since September of 2001, we haven't seen this price movement, which we'll look at in the chart shortly. And it's all due to the new CEO, Jim Farley, as he puts his turnaround plan, and investors are really showing faith into his outlook for the rest of the time that he's hopefully going to be there for the company. So since excuse me, he took control last October, from the stock has risen from $7 a share to, as I said, up to $20. That's quite significant as well, and that's far higher than other automakers from the beginning of the year as well. We've seen quite a momentous push in all automakers stocks, namely Tesla and General Motors, but Ford has actually out eclipsed them for the actual year so far, and for the last 3 months it actually beat earnings expectations as well. But General Motors have also beat earnings expectations the last couple of weeks when they released their Q3 data, as they have actually said that they've been telling investors its full year results would be in the high end of the previous guidance as well. So quite buoyant news for General Motors as well. So just take a look at the numbers for General Motors. So 152 versus 96 cents, and 26.78 billion versus 26.51 billion. So basically all the automakers are getting back on track now with their predictions for the rest of the year. Obviously electric vehicles is the main thing for the next few years going forward, with the high pressure from the recent COP26 meeting that's occurring at the moment in the UK to try and lower emissions and get them to zero at least by the next 10-20 years. So we'll see what kind of pressure that's going to put on the automakers in general. So I've put this on the daily chart at the moment. Just want to see from the last really high, swing high that we saw in 2011, we can see that Ford Motor was on a decline, and that was quite significant because once it broke this previous peak here, we knew that there was going to be another push to the upside, but this momentous push above $20 at the moment, I'll just zoom in just for better clarification, we haven't seen that for such a long time. And as you can see here, with the assistance of the Ichimoku cloud trading very far above the cloud, which is very good significance that it will keep pushing higher at the moment. As you can see from let's say the middle to the back end of September, over 1 month ago, about 6 weeks ago, we have seen quite a momentous push, just under $10 in that sense. So we'll see if that comes into fruition as well as we go into the rest of the trading week. So again, see if that's going to push higher. If not, then we'll have a look to see what the repercussions are for a little bit of a exhaustion on the stock. Just bring it down to the 4-hour chart. Not too much in the way of anything to give us an indication that there is going to be a price lower. There's no signals at the moment that I'll be looking at. I'll just be looking at purely headlines. Obviously Ford is going from strength to strength with its recent headlines that has been happening in the last 3 months with the earnings season, and obviously the electric vehicle momentous push that is happening, and obviously the investment that it had recently as well. So we'll see if General Motors can really jump on the bandwagon with this momentous push as well. General Motors, a little bit of a different scenario. We're just looking at, there was a quite momentous push at the back end of 2020 and getting into 2021. However, that exhaustion kind of set in. There was a bit of a sell-off, and now we're seeing a bit of a choppy pattern now, expecting another push at the recent peak at the $64-65 range, but we could be looking at another push downwards. There is a slight bearish divergence as well. If we take that into account, prices could halt at some point here, but I am expecting another push to the upside, roughly about the recent peak, make a double top, and then possibly start moving to the downside. The 4-hour chart gives a bit of a better indication on if that's going to come into fruition. As you can see here, prices have just broken out of the cloud, trading just above the top border, which indicates we could have another move to the downside shortly. But if we do get a bounce roughly about the $55-56 level, then yeah, we could have another move to the upside. I won't confuse you too much with all these arrows just to know that we should have another push to the upside if we do get a bounce at this region. If we do get cloud engulfment and this cloud does get thicker and thicker, then we could have another move to the downside, roughly about the $50 area, which will be a very good psychological level to see what the next path is for the stock. But as I said, just keep an eye on the headlines and all the comings and goings for the electric vehicle market, and that will see you right when trying to see what's automobile stock to trade on, that's for sure. So once again, thank you very much for joining me. That's all for today, and I'll post this video on our YouTube channel for you to comment and subscribe if needed, and we'll speak again tomorrow. Bye for now.